Hello and welcome. Welcome to the third episode of Bottom Line, in which we both of us, my colleague Shankar here, and I discuss very important topics, some good, some bad, but we do discuss and try to make sense out of it. Today we are going to discuss why Nehru has become an alibi for the BJP. Prime Minister Modi and his second in command, Mr. Amit Shah, always talking about Nehru and Gandhi.
नेहरू जी ने किया,
पंडित नेहरू ने जो कहा था, नेहरू जी ने
इस ट्रीटी करी। कोई मुझे समझाए भाई ये कौन सी बुद्धिमानी थी।
नेहरू के समय में जो ब्लंडर हुआ था, इसके कारण कश्मीर को भुगतना पड़ा कि दो बड़ी गलतियां जो पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू के प्रधानमंत्री काल में हुई, उनके लिए गए निर्णयों से हुई। इसके कारण सालों तक कश्मीर ने सहन करना पड़ा। जब हमारी सेना जीत रही थी, पंजाब का एरिया आते ही सीज फायर कर दिया गया और पाक ऑक्यूपाई कश्मीर का जन्म हुआ। अगर सीज फायर 3 दिन लेट होता तो पाक ऑक्यूपाई कश्मीर आज भारत का हिस्सा।
Why? Are they hiding their own weaknesses or they're trying to create their own icons? Let us discuss that. Shankar, welcome to the studio. Tell me, why they are after Nehru and Gandhi, even after 11 years in power?
So I think, Prabhu, we might want to sort of say that they are both, Nehru is both an alibi and an ally of the BJP. Because as we know, every new regime wants to park the blame on the previous regime and appropriate all the credit for the achievements. But in Nehru, there is both an ideological point and there were errors in the past 50, 60 years in terms of economic development, in terms of national security policy. And I think the BJP and particularly Mr. Modi have placed themselves at a level where they think that they are no less than Nehru. So Nehru is in some ways a benchmark and in some ways the target.
Does it reflect some kind of a complex that Modi or Amit Shah or BJP feels threatened even by Nehru, who died almost 60 years ago, and Mrs. Gandhi died more than that, and they're still talking about both of them for the past 11 years. They should be talking about their own achievement. What I'm talking about aaj, as you said, कलआजऔरकल. They are talking more about kal, not aane wala kal. Because ultimately, when the current leader talks about the past, it means he's trying to hide his own weaknesses. What could be the weaknesses if that is correct?
So in some sense, I think it wouldn't be weakness. It is more like, as you rightly said, it's an alibi. I think what the BJP wants to place itself in a position where the history begins with them, particularly this regime. So as we say history, jocularly in political circles, they say that 2014 के पहले तो history नहीं था, अभी history है. And then they always talk about the civilisational success of India. And somehow there is an attempt to take India back to that civilizational era of the Maurya period, the Gupta period, all that, and bridge across and completely wipe out the memory of colonization, of Nehru's, of Congress, the left of center politics. So it is an ideological positioning. In terms of administration also, because of the way the policy was framed during Nehru's time, the planning commission and all the debates and everything, there is an urgency now to address those issues. But people don't remember that when Nehru became prime minister, India had 80% poverty and 20% literacy. So in some ways, that was a much bigger challenge, a much stiffer challenge for anybody who's set up the government.
No, Shankar, the question I'm repeating again. When you are talking about a personality, because they're talking about personality, not issues. Nehru was responsible this, Gandhi was responsible this, Nehru was responsible this, Mrs. Gandhi was responsible this. Kashmir, for example, an issue which Shyama Prasad Mukherjee started in 1950. And after that sung and everybody is talking about it. Kashmir is solved now, 370 is solved now. They are talking about, still they are blaming Nehru for that. Now you have to talk about what you have done after that. I'm just trying to understand whether they want to erase them as heroes of Indian past, because those who got independence, and they want to create some new heroes which they are not able to project. They're still talking about not themselves, but about others. So the kind of issue they want to build, Kashmir, 370, and China, they want to remind how China was given. Now you are most friendly with China. You're not speaking against China at the time. So I'm saying, what still I have not been able to figure out in this parliament. The Nehru name was taken more than anybody else's time. They have forgotten about Atal Bihari Vajpayee. RSS forgotten about Golwalkar and Dr. Hedgewar. They are only talking about now Ambedkar and Veer Savarkar. So shifting these icons from what they never owned in the past, now adapting them, Sardar Patel and etc. So is there a political, it's because only one man is deciding what strategy has to follow, that is Mr. Narendra Bhai Modi. So what is the thinking? Can we think about his mind and why he's because he's a personality built by own labor without his oratorial skills and whatever you want to call it. Nehru and Gandhi bashing non-stop for the last 11 years. There must be some long-term thinking in his mind. What could that be?
So two aspects, Prabhu. I agree. I mean, I think there is an attempt, a clear attempt to wipe out or to erase or to diffuse, whichever qualifier you choose, of the past 50, 60 years of Indian politics, in the sense that the Congressy politics, the Congressian, so in some ways that is there. But in a more relevant way, for the young population who are impatient, who are frustrated by the lack of change and the problems that India has, it's easy to blame the past for the present and promise a better future. That is the formula. In a third different way, by blaming Nehru and the Congress, they are keeping alive what is their positioning, which is that they are much better, they are much stronger, they are much faster. Whether that is bought by the people or not is a question. And I think the more they strain towards the past, blaming Nehru and Congress, it seems that they are unable to sell their own successes.
No, look at the name changing, for example. That's a big thing happening. They started with Nehru's first erosion, but they changed the museum that it was Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial and Library. They changed it to Prime Minister Memorial Library. So moving Nehru's name from that means their idea was, okay, there was not only one Prime Minister in India, there were many after him, which Congress party tried to just put them under the carpet because there were no other Prime Minister of Nehru. That kind of library was built. There was nothing in name of Lal Bahadur Shastri in terms of anybody else, or even Indira Gandhi. There was no museum because it was more about Jawaharlal Nehru. So there was an idea, okay, we bring in Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Ultimately, Modi, of course. He's now the longest surviving Prime Minister after Mrs. Gandhi in 11, 12 years. Mrs. Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru and whatever. So then comes to this Mahatma Gandhi. You have Narega. Then you became it Manrega. Then it's now becoming something what they call Ram Ji, or whatever they want to call it. So what could be this name changing is ideological or something else?
I think it is very ideological. See, and also very tactical. So the Ramji is one completely convoluted, contrived kind of title for whoever came up with it.
In the village, people say Ramji.
So however they fitted everything in the Grameen and this and all. So there is another title like this: Ocean, Prime Minister's overreaching, something. So here,
which was basically midday scheme, which was a midday scheme.
So now I think that this drive to change names and all is in one way ideological to remove the last parts of Congress, whichever. I mean, Congress has not been in power over 15 states for the last decade. So Congress is not really a force in that sense. But they feel that by keeping the Congress alive, they deprive the regional parties of that position of national opposition. Because the BJP has struggled against the regional parties. The second part is here in the name change of Manrega to G Ramji. I think it is also tactical because if you see in the parliament debate, the whole debate was focused on Mahatma Gandhi ka naam nikal diya, Ram ka naam laya. The opposition couldn't contest the induction of Ram's name, so they kept talking about the removal of Mahatma Gandhi's name. And in that, the BJP has achieved a complete fundamental change in the approach to welfare from bottom up to top down, from sort of what is called a demand structure or a public recognition for issues in the ground, which is bottom up economics, to a top down economics. And there has not been much focus. If the opposition had any brains, they would have avoided this clickbait. So I think the name change was both ideological and also a clickbait. इस पे झपड़ पड़ गया.
Shankar, what some people are talking about is that with one stroke, he has killed many birds. Because by changing the name from Mahatma Gandhi's name, making it something connecting with the Ram, indirectly rhyming with the Ram, because it is very common, as you rightly pointed out. There's a mix of Hindi and English word to rhyme it like But the other question in there was that by removing Mahatma Gandhi, you achieved Ram, and after that, you're also given a political message there that we are more important. Second is, as you pointed out, it has more economic meaning as well. Also to bring down impose more burden on the state. By 40% they have to spend on their, and there will be, who will decide what schemes will be implemented, that will be decided centralized. That village, which village got that. So it means they are trying to impose some kind of, by name changing, they are achieving the objective, both political and cultural objective.
So basically, other than the Prime Minister's office and the union government, nobody has the right or the power to appease constituents, appease voters, to create any kind of schemes. And this is a contest. Now, in the other sense of it, if you look at it, the entire scheme has become like any other centrally sponsored scheme. Earlier, it was the panchayats and the state governments who decided that we will have this program here or the scheme will run here in this part of the state or this district we will enable. Now they can't do it. It will be the Prime Minister's office and the center which will decide which state, which district, how it will, how long. And also there is a very curious change that they have brought, Prabhu. They have said that there will be a pause that during sowing and harvesting season, there will be no rural employment program. Now, the very idea of having this is to create a floor, like a competing, like a price discovery. Labor could set its wage levels. That power has been taken away from the labor. Now, there is part of it is good because labor is not available during sowing and harvesting, but it sets the price, it sets a floor. Now that has been taken away. I think in some senses, for the first 10 years, they have tried and erase whatever vestige of Nehruvian was there. I think now they are moving forward and establishing that there is only one deity in the temple, and that is Hindutva.
This is one part of the economics was introduced in the bill or whatever they want to do, some kind of a saving money, because they don't have the money to give that kind of money to Manrega and whatever you want to call it.
Frankly, Prabhu, this is a country which has the largest rural employment program, largest food security program for 81 crore people. Now, if you are feeding 81 crore people free ration, which was originally a paid for ration, now it's become free ration. 75% of the population, you're giving them free ration. Then there is a question that do you need to have Narega? Do you need the other program? It is a question because at the end of the day, who's paying for it?
Shankar, I'm a little baffled on one question because on day one they started giving 800 million people. Even after 11 years, the number remains the same. Yeah, it is nobody coming down. Numbers are going up. Whenever minister speaks about things, so where is that 9%, 8% growth going there? If the number of people getting the free ration, as you pointed out, remains 800 million people. So where is the money going? It will be nobody going crossing the Greeby line or whatever they want to quote it. What are the figures? Because I asked one minister, why you are quoting 5 years ago, you told me the same figure. Now, 5 years later, you are saying me the same figure that we are not able to reduce the petroleum prices because we are feeding 800 million people. So this is by changing the names. I'm coming back to the name changing, BJP ally. Other thing which Nehru were talking about all the time, why Nehru they want to bring it back, is that the reason that when Nehru was more a compromiser, that United Nations they agreed, they want to project. Modi is not a compromiser. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was a little bit of more soft on certain issue. So Modi is one thing they want to compare with Nehru all the time on foreign policy also, that he surrendered to China. He doesn't, he gave it away. And before that, United Nations, the Kashmiri gave it a non-aligned. He was going on where nobody can gain anything. So they want to put that, okay, Nehru was a soft person. He may be good, elite, whatever. And Modi, the person who stand by whatever he says. India first. Now, for them, there was internationalism versus nationalism.
But if you look at their language, I mean, they want to say, establish that this is an assertive India. And this is visible in the language that Jaishankar uses. It is visible in all the sloganeering, the statements, the kind of narrative that was built around the surgical strikes, the narrative that we saw before Operation Sindoor. But the intent has to be also accepted in a larger scale. So there is again the inability. So when the China border issue comes up, there is a different tone and tenor to that because that problem has not been solved. Even recently, two citizens of India who were from Arunachal were hauled up in when they landed in Shanghai. And then the border issue talks are continuing. Some 25 sessions have happened. The other is that we have simply not been able to challenge Donald Trump, who has claimed that he got the ceasefire done maybe 50 times in the last 2 months, 3 months that he must have done.
Yeah.
He's still counting how many wars he has stopped. And that is where the optics of an assertive India and the reality of geopolitics are not sort of coming to aligning.
His Congress party is also countering him. No? You are not speaking against China. You're not speaking in Donald Trump. You're talking about Nehru. But what about you? That's a different issue altogether. But why I'm saying this again, going back to the same policy, what do you think that why taking them? I believe that reviving in Nehru, third generation may have forgotten about Nehru. Now people have started reading Discovery of India again. Maybe, but who was Nehru? Why Modi talking about so much? Who was Mahatma Gandhi? Because some of the third generation, fourth generation were coming into it after 75 years. They might have forgotten Nehru. Don't you think it's a counterproductive? They are doing the self-goal by reviving Nehru legacy, good or bad? Or they revive Mahatma Gandhi, where they go every year on 2nd October or 30th of January. So do you think BJP doesn't realize that by talking about somebody, as they say, love me, hate me, but don't ignore me. So you are reviving Mahatma Gandhi, you are reviving Jawaharlal Nehru. Isn't counterproductive?
But if you can find somebody to blame the failures or inadequacies of administration, governance, the various issues, air pollution, for instance, there was a joke. Somebody posted a meme yesterday. Where is Nehru? Because the AQI had again crossed this thing. I think there is an irony here that both Nehru and Modi have a larger than life idea of India's position. So when Nehru wrote Bharat Ek Khoj or Discovery of India, he had a civilisational view of India. Narendra Modi also has a civilizational view of India in whatever sense. That you might agree with it or disagree with it, whatever his positioning is. But he's yet to capture the space that Nehru had captured in some senses in the world, in the the creation of the non-aligned movement, the Tito group, the Marshal Tito, and the Turks and the Baltic states, and then those kind of relations. So he was in power for about 17 years or so. So this probably will take time. What the persistence of the BJP to hammer Nehru and the mistakes is that you can corner all the failures in the name of, I mean, nobody remembers planning commission, the mistakes that were done, the slow growth of rate, the 4% or what Professor Krishna called the Hindu rate of growth. All those things nobody remembers now. So by saying that this is how bad it was earlier, you try to present this is how good it is now. But the reality is that when
the Modi also mocked this Hindu way of growth, rate of growth. He says, well, communal lingo were given, Hindus are bekar, Hindu rate of growth, bekar. वो भी लगा दिया कि secular thing.
No, it was an ideological label by Professor Krishna because he was left of center, so he called it.
But the question is, why again Nehru, when they talk about Nehru Congress Party, pulls out the old videos. Okay, when they say Modi is getting more reception outside, people are coming to receive him, and then they pull out the old videos of Nehru, how he was received by big crowd in America. Rajiv Gandhi addressing the Senate, both houses of America together as United Nations. So there's a comparison between Nehru and Gandhi. Don't think it is counterproductive in the sense that Nehru at that time he was a Vishwaguru in his own role. Way, because they're a small world at that time. Now Modi is trying to become Vishwaguru. He is still miles away from there, but still he has acquired that. Don't you think that instead of talking about Nehru or Modi, Nehru or Gandhi, BJP should not be talking about Modi all the time, that we are doing much more than what they did, and project their own icons. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, they don't talk even now.
The irony is that because of their attacks, the Congress has actually started talking about Narasimha Rao and liberalization and Nehru and everything and reviving. But the BJP is making a mistake is by allowing the space to be occupied by criticism of Nehru or the Congress. They are losing space to project their own success stories. For instance, I think the expansion of Aadhaar, the biometric identity, all this UPI, all this is a major success. Rural electrification is a major success story, which they are unable to say. They are constantly talking about the bankruptcy code, which is okay. I mean, it's still one of the worst written laws, and the achievement is really poor. Banks are losing 1 rupee and they're getting back 28 paisa. It's not really okay. GST now it has been so. Their big achievements are really not being spoken about. I mean, India's output of food grain, India's #1 in milk, India is got the world's largest programs going. The introduction of Ayushman Bharat should have been backed with preventive healthcare. All these things they have. So the problem with the BJP is that they think that the institutional structures that were there, like the planning commission and all, were there because of some leftist ideology. But without these institutions, you cannot achieve success. Without consultation, you can't have success. So what has the Niti Aayog's achievement have been, Prabhu? Just for 10 years it has been there. Do you remember anything of work that they have done? So this is the one big problem. If they use the Niti Aayog properly, they could actually project their own success stories.
But instead of going into the issue, I'm talking about personality clashes, because now politics is personality driven. Global relations are personality. There's a Trump, there's Modi, there's somebody else. People are talking more about personality these days rather than what countries are doing. So in that thing, don't you think BJP government has enough on its plate to project its own icons rather than talking about the past? Past also created some kind of modern India, but taking it forward, should have been the objective of this, instead of taking, okay, Nehru also did good, but we are doing much better than Nehru, what he did.
Yes. But you require a mindset for that. Now, if you think that Ek Meva is your principal mantra, then you can't achieve that. You have to have a larger mindset. I mean, beyond Vajpayee, the BJP is unable to sort of acknowledge the presence. So if you go beyond Vajpayee, BJP has no leaders all the way till Madan Mohan Malviya. So they have to, or Shama Prasad Mukherjee. So they have to accept that there are the diversity of
Therefore, they're
views.
adopting. No? They're adopting Ambedkar, they're adopting Veer Savarkar, they're adopting Sardar Patel. They're adopting from other areas. They were not part of their own ecosystem. Anyway, what in हिंदी कई बार कहते हैं नहीं, एक लकीर बड़ी होती है, उसको छोटी करने के बजाय आप बड़ी लकीर क्यों नहीं खड़ी करते? So don't you think Modi should be driving their own big line that we have done much more, we are much better administrators, we are more committed to India, Bharat, what they call it, and we are also committed to ancient India.
And the fact is that it is a much better governed state. We have inducted more technology. We have done better.
And political stability is also there. You have ensured political stability. You are not changing chief minister, but like Mrs. Gandhi used to do. Every 6 months, one chief minister change. Every cabinet reshuffle taker. You have created record here at Modi. You have a one minister who is there in one department for 11 years, Mr. Nitin Gadkari. You have defense minister who is there for 6 years. Your finance minister who is there for 7 years. So this kind of stability, which no other government provided, they should project that we are better governance, that we are not instability. We are not reshuffling our own pack. We are trusting our own people.
No, that infrastructure story, the creation of new airports. Now everybody takes selfies when they go to an airport or with the new trains. There is, all that construction of highways, the connectivity that has been done, all of that they can talk about. And as you rightly said, Nitin Gadkari's persistence as a minister for so many years is, in some sense, a serious achievement. And particularly in India's governments where ministers don't last more than 2.5 years, somebody finds something. So this Lakir business that you said, now, so they are using that philosophy, but only to show that the earlier regimes were worse, not that we are better. So needs to be a switch to say that this is what we have achieved. I think like this Har Ghar Jal program that they have. They have rural, all these programs they can protect. In terms of personality, I don't think between Nehru and Mrs. Gandhi and Modi, there have been any leader who have commanded national attention in such a huge fashion. And that too in the current media atmosphere, where everybody has a channel now, as you know, everybody has a voice on social media. In that, they have been able to manage the narrative is an achievement. That I think the issue that we are discussing is because the word that we are struggling to coin here is that they have not succeeded in creating their cult.
So, Shankar, the bottom line is that you should not dig the past. You talk about the future more important and create your own icons. That's the bottom line of today, because talking about the past doesn't get you any more votes. You earned your own victory, and you must take it forward by talking about the future, taking everything, include the past for the future. That's the bottom line for today, isn't it?
कलआजऔरकल. Instead of talking about kal, speak about the other kal.
आगे वाले कल के ऊपर concentrate कीजिए. That's the bottom line. Thank you, Shankar. We'll meet again.
Thank you.
For today, we have discussed the whole thing. Next week, we'll again discuss some other topic. Till then, you keep watching Bottom Line. Give your comments, good, bad, or ugly. We won't mind. I can assure you that. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.